No, I was manager. I was the manager. When we initially left Los Angeles to go to New York, there was someone who was managing. But as time went on, I saw that this was not going to work, and I had to take over management myself. And I knew nothing. What I did know, and what I was driven by, was what was best for my child.
No,
No,
he was never a father figure. He was always a good friend and a role model.
I like that.
For a black man in this kind of
In
a
show
business.
business.
Because he had his father.
That's right.
His father was, he didn't, he had a
He was more than an actor. He felt like a son to the nation, the friendly face on our TVS, the comfort in countless living rooms, that warm laugh, the familiar charm, the gentle heart behind a long career, all of it shaped memories for many people. Then, on July 20th, everything changed. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was found dead after being pulled from the water in Costa Rica. The news arrived like a sudden thunderclap, and rumors, grief, and shock followed close behind. But nothing matched the sight of his mother when she heard the words no parent expects, "Mrs. Warner," they told her, and the sentence that followed finished her world. She crumpled, the air gone from her chest. Her legs gave out and she fell, hands clawing at empty space, calling on whatever comfort she could find. "Not my boy," she begged the room. Not Malcolm. Only yesterday, he was smiling, she thought. Only yesterday, he was calling her, or laughing in the kitchen, or sharing a quiet joke. Now a white sheet covered his still form, and the sight of it tore something from her that could not be replaced. When they led her into the hospital room, she moved as if through fog. Each step felt heavier than the last. The door opened, and there he was, small under the sheet, impossibly calm. She pulled the cloth back slowly, as if the gentle motion might bring him back. The face she knew stared up at the ceiling, unchanged except for the cold that life leaves behind. She touched his forehead. It was cool beneath her hand, and for a moment she whispered the same thing countless mothers do. "Wake up. Mama's here. Don't go." Her voice broke on the last word. She fell onto the bed beside him and cried in a way that felt like the building itself might collapse. Doctors and nurses could not repair the break inside her. They turned away, giving space to a sorrow that no medicine can fix. Colleagues, fans, and friends poured out memories in the hours that followed. Images and short clips. The sitcom laughter rewound on repeat. But the noise from outside the hospital could not touch the silence between her and her son. For the world, this was a headline. For her, it was the room where time stopped out at home later that night. The house was full of echoes. Childhood photos watched from frames. A favorite mug sat untouched by the sink. A script lay open on his desk, pages full of ideas he had not yet shared with the world. Pamela sat in his room, wrapped in the sleeve of his hoodie, and listened to the messages still stored in his phone. One played without warning. A small, ordinary check-in. "Hey, Ma, just checking in. You don't have to call back. I just wanted to hear your voice." It had been recorded a few days earlier. In that tiny recording she heard the distance that had been growing between them. And in that moment, regret struck like ice. He had reached out and she had not answered. Now, she would never get another chance. Outside, the internet ballooned with speculation. Some suggested accident, others guessed about drugs or despair, and darker theories found their way into threads and comment sections. Old interviews and offhand remarks were dug up and taken as clues. People posted condolences and shared clips from his most famous role, where he was the boy everyone felt they knew. But none of the online voices could recreate the private moments a mother remembered, the small ways he showed worrying, the long hugs that now looked like goodbyes, the nights when he seemed quieter than usual. In the weeks before he died, those who loved him had noticed changes. He missed calls and canceled plans, things that were unusual for him. When they did see each other, he would sometimes speak in a softer way or hold on a little longer. At dinner, he once asked his mother if she had ever felt like she was screaming underwater, unheard and sinking. At the time, she laughed it off and urged him to rest or pray. Later, she would replay that question over and over, a private cry she wished she had answered differently. Investigators eventually searched his phone and found a voice note saved but not sent. In it, his voice trembled as he spoke directly to his mother. He admitted feeling tired in a way that sleep could not fix. He said he was fading, and that he wanted peace without frightening her. Hearing him confess weariness in that quiet way broke something loose inside his family. They remembered every hug and every small complaint, and the weight of what had been left unsaid settled like a stone. The official report said he had drowned while in the water. Responders tried to save him, but could not revive him. The medical details were clinical and cold compared with the living memories around them. The boy who used to run through the house, barefoot and free. The adolescent who sat close during storms. The adult who, even with fame, carried a private loneliness. Family, friends, and faraway fans all came to mourn, each one shaped by their own relationship to him. Celebrities and co-workers posted their grief, and a long list of tributes called him talented, kind, and professional. But in the chapel and the living room, the people who loved him most held a different kind of sorrow, more intimate and much harder to share. At the funeral, his mother spoke without the polish of rehearsed words. She read a letter he had written as a boy, where he confessed he did not know how to be famous, but would try if it made her proud. She told the crowd that the man on screens was only part of him. The rest was a son who had loved and needed his family. Her voice was small but honest. He had thought he had to be perfect to be loved, she said. But the truth was the opposite. She simply needed him to be her child. Even with questions lingering, life tried to move on around the loss. Reporters worked to construct timelines, and timelines gave way to more questions. Who had been with him that evening? Why was he in that spot alone? Had anyone noticed his silence sooner? Answers did not come quickly, and the space between suspicion and certainty grew wide. Meanwhile, a mother carried a sweater she had not dared to wash. Its fabric still smelled faintly of him, and to her it was the last warm trace of a voice that no longer spoke. The hardest thing in all this is how ordinary the last days could seem in memory. A phone message, a skipped rehearsal, a hug that now looked like a farewell. Fans replay the shows that made their childhoods softer. Co-workers remember a steady colleague. Local strangers remember a quiet man at the beach. But the family remembers the small rhythmic things that fill a life. The call after a long day. The habit of leaving a jacket on a chair. The look that said, "I'm okay," when he was not. Loss creates many stories at once. To the outside world, this was the sudden passing of a beloved performer, something discussed on news channels and social feeds. To those who shared his daily life, it was the terrible end of a private struggle that had gathered force and silence. A mother asked herself endlessly, "What could I have done differently? What signs did I miss?" Guilt and longing sat side by side, and grief kept them company. There is also the strange publicness of private pain. Social media offered sympathy. It also hosted speculation. Some comments showed kindness, others imagined explanations, and certain conversations crossed into the cruel. That friction between public reaction and private mourning made grief feel exposed and raw. Still, amongst the noise, many people shared genuine memories, a kindness he showed on a set, a laugh in a behind-the-scenes clip, a note of encouragement he once sent. Those memories formed a fragile bridge between who he had been on camera and who he had been behind closed doors. In the end, the emptiness left behind is as complex as the life that preceded it. There is the public record, the date, the official cause, the photos and the headlines. But behind every fact, there is a human heartbeat that has stopped. A mother who still reaches for a presence that is no longer there. And a family that keeps replaying the small moments that felt ordinary until they were gone. They will likely never stop asking the questions that have no satisfying answers. And they will keep living with the ache that comes when a loved one leaves too soon. For now, the world keeps remembering him with clips and candlelight, trying to hold onto the comfort he gave so many. Those who loved him in flesh and bone mourn in ways that cannot be captured by any headline. The public keeps watching the shows that made them feel safe, while a mother collects the pieces of a life that once fit together so naturally. She will carry his voice in her ears, the last messages on her phone, and the smell in an unwashed sweater. Those things are small, but they are all she has to hold. If there is a lesson here, it is a gentle and painful one. People who make us laugh or feel young can also be quietly hurting. Fame and applause do not always protect against loneliness. So, when someone we love seems tired, even in ways we do not fully understand, asking simple questions and letting them speak can matter more than we know. In the quiet that follows loss, the tiny, ordinary acts of care are the things that count most. She will never stop missing him. The world will not forget the role that made him famous. But the deepest grief belongs to the people who loved him face to face, the mother who touched his forehead one last time, the family who replayed his voice notes, and the private life that carried its own private sorrow. They will go on telling his story, not only as the character he played, but as the son, the friend, and the human being who walked through rooms and left a space no one can fill. The church was silent, heavy with sorrow, until Pamela's voice broke through. Her words weren't polished or prepared. They were raw, torn from the deepest part of her soul. My son, not the actor, not the celebrity, just Malcolm. She couldn't hold herself up after that. Right there on the stage, she collapsed beside his coffin, her cries spilling into the folds of the American flag draped across it. Her knees hit the floor, her hands clutching the cloth as if holding it could bring him back. The sound of her grief filled the church, and even the strongest among the crowd lost control. Men who had built empires in television, actors with decades of fame, executives who were always poised and in control, every single one of them broke down. Tears ran freely outside the church. Thousands were glued to their screens, watching the live stream. On social media, clips of Pamela's words spread in seconds. The captions told the story of collective heartbreak. I've never cried this hard in my life. This isn't just a tragedy. This is a wake-up call. People lit candles across the globe. Hashtags like #Justice from Malcolm and #He was crying to trended worldwide. Celebrities, mental health advocates, fans, everyone suddenly had something to say. But the truth stood in front of them, uncheckable. It was too late. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was gone, and nothing could bring him back. When Pamela returned home, silence became her worst enemy. The house, though quiet, was alive with memories. His laughter still seemed to echo through the hallway. His shoes remained neatly by the door, waiting for footsteps that would never come. His toothbrush sat untouched in the bathroom. His bedroom was frozen in time, his laptop still open to the unfinished script he had been writing. That night, she lay down in his bed, cradling the baby blanket she had kept all these years. She hadn't slept in 2 days, but exhaustion finally began to press down on her. Before her eyes closed, she whispered into the darkness, her words trembling, "Baby, if you're out there somewhere, if you can hear me, I'm sorry. I didn't know. God forgive me, I didn't know." Her voice broke again, softer this time, nearly a breath. "I would have taken the pain from you, every ounce. I would have drowned for you, Malcolm." The silence that followed was unbearable. The world was still trying to understand how one of its brightest lights had dimmed without anyone noticing. Inside the Warner home, grief sat in every corner. Pamela had barely spoken in hours. Her hands shook whenever someone tried to break the silence, as if words themselves might tear apart the last thread holding her together. For the public, the news was heartbreaking. For her, it had destroyed her entire world. She sat in Malcolm's old bedroom, the place where he had once plastered jazz posters on the walls and proudly displayed trophies from his teenage years. Dust had settled on them, but they still shone faintly in the dim light. On the bed lay his old leather-bound journal, flipped open to a half-written page. The words on it read, "I just want to feel peace again." The handwriting was unsteady, shaky in a way that screamed of exhaustion. Pamela pressed the journal to her chest as though it were his heartbeat. They said it was an accident. She whispered into the empty room, "But I know, my son, that wasn't just an accident." Outside, the media swarmed like vultures. Cameras flashed, voices shouted. Everyone wanted a statement. But this wasn't a show. This was a mother living her worst nightmare. What the cameras didn't capture was the moment Pamela collapsed again, screaming Malcolm's name like it might pull him back from the darkness. The coroner's report didn't bring peace. It only raised more questions. A sedative had been found in his system. Did someone drug him? Did he take it himself? And if he did, why? Days later, a voicemail surfaced. It was Malcolm's voice, left for a close friend 3 nights before his death. In it, his voice cracked as he said, "I don't think I can keep doing this. I smile in every photo. I laugh in every interview. But inside, I'm drowning." That word again, drowning. The same word Pamela had circled in his journal. The same word the police had mentioned in their report. The same word no one wanted to connect with the man the world still remembered as Theo Huxtable. Fans poured onto social media with tributes. Many said Malcolm's role on television had helped them survive their own struggles. But for Pamela, none of that dulled the ache in her chest. No hashtag, no tribute, no viral video could undo what had been done. At the private family vigil, Pamela sat quietly with Malcolm's baby shoes in her lap. She didn't speak until the pastor gently asked if she wanted to say something. Rising slowly, her voice trembling, she said, "I raised him to believe he was enough. I told him he was strong. I told him he could talk to me about anything. But maybe he thought the world only wanted to hear him when he acted happy. Maybe we all failed him." A single sob escaped before she dropped the microphone and walked away. Those closest to Malcolm were shattered. Felicia Rashad, who had played his TV mother for years, refused to talk to the press. But a crew member leaked what happened behind closed doors. She had screamed, "Not my Theo," before collapsing in prayer. They had to sedate her. For her, he had been family to. Then came the shock that shook everyone. Malcolm's attorney revealed a sealed envelope he had written months before. Inside was a letter, addressed simply, "To whoever really listens." It read, "If you're reading this, then I didn't make it. And if I didn't, please know it wasn't one thing. It was everything. The pressure to smile, the expectation to perform, the loneliness when the cameras shut off, the fear that one day people would stop caring. I tried to stay. I promise I tried. But I needed rest. Please tell them I love them, especially Mom." The letter tore Pamela apart. She screamed, collapsing into her brother's arms, repeating Malcolm's name over and over. He was trying to reach someone, and none of us heard him. As if that wasn't heavy enough, another revelation surfaced. An anonymous studio source claimed Malcolm had been secretly working on a documentary. It was meant to uncover the hidden truths about child stars, the pressures, the manipulation, the trauma no one wanted to acknowledge. But that footage never came to light. Sources claimed it was wiped from his laptop the very night he died. When Pamela heard this, she whispered, "Then it wasn't just an accident." Theories began swirling. Was Malcolm silenced? Was this really an overdose? Or something darker? Investigators scrambled for answers, but the family remained broken. Pamela barely left her room, a close friend shared. She plays his interviews on repeat. She talks to the screen as if he can hear her. She still sets a place for him at the table. One viral clip showed Pamela shouting at reporters outside her home. "He wasn't a headline. He was my son, my everything. You didn't care when he was alive. Why are you here now?" The clip spread to over 12 million views in a single day. Hashtags like #Justice for Malcolm and #ProtectOurStars spread worldwide. But the silence inside the Warner household remained unbroken. Even Malcolm's dog, Jazz, waited outside his bedroom door every night, expecting him to return. Pamela sat beside the dog one evening, holding her son's old hoodie, whispering, "He's not coming home. Baby, he's not coming home." Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just an actor. He was more than the character we watched on television. For so many, he was part of their childhood, a familiar face who made them laugh, who gave them comfort. To even speak of him in the past tense now feels cruel, wrong, almost impossible. His mother's collapse at the funeral, the haunting words in his journal, the letter in that envelope, the unfinished documentary. Every sign pointed to a truth no one wanted to accept. He had been hurting deeply, quietly, and the world had missed it. This wasn't just a personal loss. It was a warning, a reminder of how easily we can overlook the silent suffering of those who seem strong, happy, or successful on the outside. Now, the painful questions linger. Who failed him? Why didn't anyone see? And what really happened in those final hours? What hurts most is knowing he carried all that weight with grace, never letting the world see how much he was struggling. He smiled through the pain. He laughed while drowning inside. He gave us joy while his own heart was breaking. If this story makes you feel even a fraction of the pain his mother carries, don't let it fade away. Talk about it. Share it. Remember him not just as an actor, but as a human being who mattered. This is not just entertainment. It's a plea for humanity. We lost Malcolm-Jamal Warner. He deserved better. His family deserved better. And so did we. Asterisk.